is Bloomberg Surveillance with Tom Keene and Paul Sweeney on Bloomberg Radio.
Good morning, everyone. We finished strong in the 9 o'clock hour. Is Scarlett in today? Is she on an audible day? She's here.
She's here.
She
She's
had
ready
Connie
to go.
Chung on yesterday. How
It was
cool.
very cool discussion.
Very
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Scarlett Fu and Connie Chung yesterday. I'm sure you'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, Connie Chung, just a legend in news.
Yeah, she invented
Wow. Yep, absolutely.
Paul Sweeney and Tom Keene, and this is important. It's a treat for us. Nathan Dean is Senior Vice President shutdown for all of Bloomberg. He's in Washington, and he's the one with a note. It's incredibly terse and naked and basic. Nathan Dean, what is the media getting wrong about the shutdown inside the Beltway? What's the thing that we need to know right now?
So I think the thing that you need to know is that there's a lot of folks here in Washington that think that this could go to Thanksgiving, if not longer.
What?
There's not a lot of pressure points here that will force both sides to come together and make a deal. Look, both sides think that they're winning here, and the polling hasn't really changed. It slightly shows independents blaming Republicans a little bit more than Democrats. Now, I think next week you could see a potential for some negotiations just because we have three things happening. You have the second military paycheck, you have the expiration of SNAP benefits, and you have open enrollment starting for the ACA. They could push some people to come together, but ultimately, I think a lot of folks think this is going to Thanksgiving.
Wow. Because I know, Nathan, when we talked to you maybe day one of this shutdown, you had suggested that maybe it could be a short-lived shutdown. Unfortunately, that's not the case. What's happened here?
So, and that's right. I mean, I think the biggest issue here is forget the ACA subsidies. I mean, that's something that politically, I think the Democrats and Republicans they'll play politics on. But we have a fundamental issue with how appropriations is handled in the United States. It takes 60 votes because it's subject to the filibuster. So Democrats have to be on board with a bipartisan deal. But the problem is that it only takes 50 votes for Republicans to rescind the money. And so if you have to have 60 votes to make a deal and to appropriate these monies, and the Republicans can go back, it's something. And so the Democrats are just saying, look, why should we make a deal?
Brilliant. Nathan, I got to get two questions in. We're running out of time. Nathan, with all your perspective, this started with Ronald Reagan, who the president's mental about with Canada today. And Ronald Reagan codified those federal government, less government. All this is a follow-on. The Republicans will do anything to shrink government. Is that still in place?
I think it's in place with some portions of the Republican Party, especially if you look at OMB Director Russ Vought. I mean, this sort of plays into his playbook here because if the government remains shut, he builds the case, well, then why should we have all these government workers and they can continue to do this reduction in forces? So, again, the White House really isn't involved here in the shutdown. President Trump is focused on international matters. He's leaving out the Asia. And so I'm not exactly sure how this all gets resolved.
Okay, now we got a problem. This is smokescreen, folks. We had Nathan Dean because he's like outstanding. His Bloomberg intelligence note on Washington is mental good. HR called Nathan and they said, well, you got to do an intervention. You're taking your son to a Baltimore Ravens game?
Yeah, I'm a Chicago Bears fan, so I'm going to take him up. But the problem is he's a Vikings fan, so he said he's going to root in purple solidarity against me.
Wow.
What do you expect to see? The Ravens are on the edge of New York Jets. You're going to inflict that upon your offspring?
You know, I am a Bears fan. I have to take all the wins I can get, and if they can win this weekend, that's all the better.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to go see the Bears win. Nathan Dean, thank you so much on short notice. And seriously, folks, his note for Bloomberg Intelligence Washington update. It's just visceral. There's no chit chat or vacillation. It's just here's what the Democrats think. Here's what the Republicans think.
Bloomberg clients ring his phone nonstop all day, every day, asking what is going on. How is this going to affect my company? How is this going to affect my my portfolio? And he knows what's going on. He knows what's happening on Capitol Hill. He knows what's happening there. And right now, nothing's happening, unfortunately.
At Princeton, Harvard, you don't tailgate. You just go to Hoagie Haven?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Hoagie Haven.
Where do you go afterwards?